Hi, good people. I hope you are all doing fine. Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. Today, let's do some basic mechanics. Let me just sit upright so that we can communicate. There we go. Yeah, let me just set it there. So, guys, today I'm here and I really want us to learn some basic mechanics. Maybe you have a vehicle and you really want to understand on how maybe you should be doing some of these things by your own, you know. Some of the key basic things that you should be able to do includes the aspect maybe of changing your tires, which is very instrumental. Maybe uh, measuring your pressure, tire pressure, which is also very fundamental. And apart from that, guys, there is also need for you to understand on how maybe you should be able to use some of basic equipment such as the measuring meter, and here I have what we call a digital meter. I hope you can see it, guys, and you can see it well. This is a digital meter, and let me just a little bit explain on how it works. So that's how it looks. You can see at the top here is off, and then you can see VAC, DVC, I'm seeing it from the other side. Yeah, DVC, that is the direct current, and you always measure what we call the DVC. If you are measuring maybe a component that have stored energy, like the battery, like the car battery. Here I have one. This is my car battery, supplementary, because I have the main one, but we are going to measure its voltage so that you can see how DVC works, and here in the DVC you will see it starts all the way from 20, it goes all the way to 1,000. There are some batteries, most of the batteries, we know it's like it's always about 14, 14 volts. Yeah, so when you essentially now power on your meter by just going to the nearest value, like here my nearest value is 20. So maybe if I measure my battery, this smaller battery, it should be able to tell me how amount of charge it has stored. It should be able to tell me how much charge it has stored. So let's get started and we see how we can be able to measure the battery, then from there now we can proceed. So here I have my battery here, and this is my meter. So the first thing that I do, these ones are called the probes. They look like this. We have the red one, which means positive, and we have the black one, which means negative. You see? And so if I really want to measure, I'll just come to my battery, and through my battery terminal you can see this one is red, so this one is positive and this one is negative. So if I put my probe, the red one here, okay, that way, and then I have my negative one here in the negative terminal, yeah, like that. Then my digital meter should be able to tell me how much charge my battery has. You see, like now it's fluctuating. I think this one is loose. Let me just try and make it to be strong so that we can see the amount of battery. You see, like now it's 0 0. When I put now that way, it's telling me that my charge is about 12.6. You see, 12.66. That's the amount of charge this smaller battery has. You see, so that's the first hack on how to understand how to measure car battery, because car battery, understanding the charge in your car battery is also very instrumental, especially maybe if you want to charge your vehicle, or if you really want to to move from point A to B, because at the end of the day, having power is very understanding your battery, the nature of your battery is very important. For me, this is just like a backup battery. Yeah, I have the main one. We are also going to measure its volt, and then from there now we are going to see. You see, it's telling me 12.6661, so we are just there, 6767. So relative rate has about 12.67. So that's the first thing that you should be able to understand, to measure or to evaluate in your vehicle. And then the next thing, wow, and then sorry for that, and then I really want sorry, here we go, I really wanted it to be very stable. The next thing that you should be able to measure, or to understand if they are working properly, is these ones. These ones are called the car fuse. Okay, this one, and each and every vehicle has a car fuse, what we call the fuse box. So the fuse box is contained of these LED things that you can see here. So this one is a vehicle fuse, which we should also be able to understand. And now back to our meter, we go back to off. Okay, so I have showed you how to measure the DCV, which is now the direct current, as I have told you. I think yeah, this one. And then we have the AVC. You see this one, the AVC, this one is alternating current. This one we deal it especially when we are having power, like measuring maybe the electrical products, the kettle, the kettle. We also have what we may call maybe the power in your house, all those. It should be measured by AVC, because we are talking of the direct current voltage. Okay, so if for instance, for AVC, you will see that the value is 700 and 750 to 200. For instance, here in Kenya, our voltage is always 240. So when we really want to measure maybe a product and the voltage it has, we should come and we put it there where 750 is, because that's our standard for our domestic use. We always use 240, but now that one we are not going to do. And then we see this thing here, yeah, this one, for those who did physics, this one is called ohm. You see, so this one is called ohm, and this part is used to measure the resistance. For instance, if I really want to measure a resistance, maybe I can measure maybe a wire from point A to B, and I really want to understand is the resistance, so we use this one, we use this area. Then we have this one, as you can see it here. This one measures the continuity. Is that thing working correctly? Does it have continuity? Can power be able to move from point A to B, or from point B to C? That one is also very important. For instance, let's measure this fuse. So the first thing you do, you have your meter. You turn your meter on. You turn your meter on until we come to this point. You see this one, yeah, this point here, where we have this straight line here to mean continuity, and then you can see we have a sound thing. This one should be able to tell us if that thing is working correctly and has continuity. It should be able to produce some sound. Now, since I have my probes here, yeah, the first thing to understand if my multimeter is working, is just touch the probes. You see, if I touch them, they should be able to tell me that there is continuity. Yeah, now let's come to our fuse. The fuse is here, so and from the fuse you can see it has two heads. We have this one and this one. So when I touch them using my meter and it's making some sound, then that one should be able to tell me that that my probes are but that my fuse is working. You see, like this one, I have touched it with this one is the positive, and then I can come and touch it here. You see, so that's how it is. Very instrumental. It tells me that fuse is okay. I have fuse number 2. I do the same thing. It has also produced some sound. I come to fuse number 3. I do the same. It is also telling me that it is working. I come to fuse number 4. I do the same thing. So those fuses are all okay, you know. Then now let's go to the practical part of it. You see, since this vehicle has a lot of fuses, let's see in the fuse box if they are going to produce some sound.